Greetings and welcome to another episode of SPCA Stories. Hope you are all doing well. If you are new to us, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Dawn Fenton, SPCA Monterey County Content and Education Manager. We are coming to you from the SPCA Monterey County Claire Jacobson Learning Center in beautiful Salinas, California. My guest this time around is Beth Brookhouser, Vice President of Marketing and Communications at SPCA Monterey County. She's also my boss. So in just a few words, Beth inspires people, both within the organization and the community, to connect with the mission of SPCA Monterey County. Now don't worry, you're going to hear all about that. In fact, the words celebrate the work come up often in this interview. Just a quick note to some of our more sensitive listeners. Delicate topics such as surrendering a beloved pet and humane euthanasia do come up, so please take care while listening. Hi, Beth.
Hi, Dawn. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited you're here as well. So this is Beth Brookhouser. We're welcoming her to our lovely podcast today. And I have to admit, I'm a little nervous. She's my boss. I'm interviewing my boss. It's a little crazy, but we've known each other a long time. So Beth, what is your title?
I am the Vice President of Marketing and Communications here at SPCA Monterey County.
So you have a very important job.
I love this job. This was never anything I expected to be doing growing up. I never dreamed about being on radio and TV and doing the marketing thing as a kid, but here I am, and I can't imagine any place else I'd rather be.
So that's amazing. How long have you worked for SPCA Monterey County?
21 years.
21 years.
Yes.
That is incredible. I was going to ask you, actually, how did you land here?
Yeah, going back to the kid thing. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a vet. I loved animals. I adopted my very first dog from this very SPCA. And I really thought the only way you could grow up and work with animals was to be a veterinarian. And when I went to school, science was good, but not for me. So my career path and education path took me more in the humanities side of things. And after a couple different careers that were wild and varied and a lot of fun, I realized that I could use those skills to help animals. And it was definitely a shocking moment to me. I guess I still thought that you needed to be a vet to help animals. And now here I am 21 years later, and I feel like I'm making a difference in my own little way.
That's so great. So one of the things that I like to talk about with people when they come in is just what you said. You don't have to be a vet to help animals. There's a lot of opportunity, and there are a lot of different ways to help animals. And that's one of my favorite things about how I came here, because I'm definitely not a scientist. So the vet thing, you don't have to be a vet or a groomer or a dog walker. There are a lot of opportunities if you keep your eyes open to find your niche in helping.
And all of those are great things, and all of those are so needed.
Yes.
God bless our veterinary team. Oh my gosh, I couldn't do what they do all day long. They're amazing. But can I talk about you for a second?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I remember when your resume came across my desk and looking at it and thinking, this is a strange turn for her. Do you think she would fit here? I think we should, let's bring her in. Let's see. Because you came from a very theatrical background with no animal care experience, nothing in the sheltering world, all very awesome theater, really cool stuff. I remember you were in a movie right when you first started with us, and that was so neat. And it really goes back to what you said about how it takes all kinds of people to make a difference and help animals.
Yeah, it's been really interesting talking to everyone so far, the interviews that I've done so far with our amazing staff, because I learn a little bit about everybody, something that I did not know before. And it all of us seem to come to that conclusion. It's like, well, there are some people who really love to talk to people. And our work, we need people who know how to do that. But then there are other people who maybe are a little more solitary and they're more comfortable, kind of doing their tasks and sticking with those and being kind of quiet. And it takes all kinds, but what brings us all together is the love of animals. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely. We all come from different places and different backgrounds, different lifestyles, and we're all here to help the animals. And I do remember what you said about talking to people. Back when I first started here 21 little tiny years ago, I remember a lot of the people, they would come, their resumes, their cover letters would say, I love animals, I don't like people. It was sort of a weird thing where we would hire people who only liked animals. But you have to love animals, but you also have to love people, because we're helping animals, yes, but we're helping the people who love animals. We're helping the people who have animals that really need us. We're helping make lifelong connections between people and animals. It's not animals in a silo on their own. It takes animals and people together to make a difference.
Absolutely. So one of the things I like to do when people come in is I give compliments. So I give compliments, or, I like to say something nice because that kind of gets the ball rolling. But so yes, you are my supervisor. You've been here 21 years. I've been here 16 years.
It's amazing. We've known each other a long time.
Yes, a very long time. And one of the things that I love about working with you is that you kind of let me be me. You've allowed me to, I get crazy ideas and you're like, okay, reel it back. Why and what? And then you're like, okay, just, you let me be me. And I appreciate that. And that's one of the things I love about this organization is that the staff everybody is so, we all we have our strengths and we work together, and and one of the things, there's so much that I love about you, Beth.
Aww.
We know a lot about each other. We've been around each other for a long time. But I've always appreciated that you're open to, kind of crazy ideas or just, stuff that's out of the box. You're willing to give it a shot, or at least, let me talk you through it. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. It means a lot to me. I really, really do love working with you. It's been a great 16 years, and I think our little team makes a big difference for animals.
And this place is like a family. It's like a family. So one of the things, the other things I love about working here. So switching gears a little bit, what were you like as a kid?
Super awkward and shy. My parents still like to joke about how they just can't believe that I am on TV and on the radio and doing all this, because I was such a shy, hide behind my parents kind of kid. I didn't speak up in school, really comfortable around my friends, and had a small core group of friends that I was really myself with. But in college, I have vivid memories of asking one of those friends to call to order pizza because I was too shy to pick up the phone and order a pizza. So I was definitely a late bloomer, and I feel like I've come a long way. Now, if TV doesn't come out to do an interview about animals, I get kind of mad that I haven't been on TV in a while. Just knowing, because it's not about me, it's about the animals. And I'm not talking about me, except for right now. I am talking about the animals. So as a kid, I loved animals, always had animals in the household, grew up in a very pet-loving family. Our animals were always indoors, sleeping on the beds, just lots of animals. And
so you've always had animals in your life?
Yeah, since before I was born, my family had animals, and I always had I have a brother and a sister, and we all had our own pets that were also shared family pets, but they were sort of considered my pet or my brother's or my sister.
Can you think of, is there any of those pets that you've had over the years that was extra special? Or, of course we love them all, but is there any pet that you've had that has really...
My gosh, so many, so many animals. Well, my dog that I adopted here back when I was a kid in our old shelter, which when I first started working here, I knew exactly where I found him in the shelter.
Wow.
Flipper the dog. He was a really cool dog. Just loved everybody. I took him to college with me. He
Wow.
lived with my parent. Well, when I was in the dorms, he lived with my parents. And then when I had my own house, he came with me. And he was a great dog. He's a very special boy.
Aw. I wish I could have had a dog at college. Didn't happen for me, but that's really nice. That's amazing. So why are you passionate about what you do?
I always tell people that, and this is from the heart, I am the luckiest girl in the world. I am surrounded by so many people who work so hard for animals every single day, and I get to sit back and do the easy part of just celebrating the work that they do. I get to talk about what these amazing humans who I get to work with. I feel like my job is the easiest in the world because of that, because we have so much to talk about. That's actually one of the most challenging parts of this job too, as you well know, is it's exciting and thrilling that we do so much for so many animals, with cats and dogs and horses and wildlife and exotic pets. Humane investigations and spay neuter and all the things that we do. There's always something to talk about, but there's always things that we're leaving out because there's so much to talk about. It's a blessing, but it's also a struggle to really celebrate everything that we do here because we do so much.
Yeah, it's a wide variety. It's a wide scope of the things that we do. Just breaking it down a little bit, how would you, let's say you're meeting somebody at a party for the first time. You're at a party, shaking
Shy
somebody's
in
hand,
the corner, yes.
and they say, "So Beth, what do you do?" How do you explain your job to someone who would have zero idea?
Well, first I explain, I tell them I work for SPCA Monterey County, and honestly, I think I could see in people's eyes a lot of the time it's either they're super excited and love animals and they want to tell me a story about the pet they adopted, or they're like, animals, interesting. So that kind of gives me a direction to go with. I think a lot of times too, when I meet people and I say, I work with SPCA, people don't realize how professional everybody here is. And a lot of times they might think, oh, she just, goes and plays with puppies all day long, which I wish was the job. That's not the job for any of us here. So I kind of give them, when I say I'm the VP of marketing and communications, people kind of understand what that means. But then I, tell them that I celebrate the work of SPCA Monterey County. I'll give them the quick little speech that I gave before about we're here for all animals. And then I'll, if they're still interested, break down, that means the website and talking to the media and every place that we're seen in the public, really getting the word out about who we are and what we do.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people, they recognize the social media. They're like, oh, yeah, you guys have the best, you get to have the pictures of the dogs and the cats, and I see them all the time. So I find that that's often a really good conversation starter because most people have seen our social media.
Yes.
And they will ask me about different pets, like, oh, what happened to, this pet? And I have to really think about it, and then we'll get out our phones and start looking through. And
Yeah.
So it's a nice way to meet people.
Here locally, most people have a connection. They've either adopted or they've come here for spay neuter for their pets, or they have a friend who's adopted. You brought up social media. Can I talk about that for a second?
I would love for you to talk about social media.
Okay, so we're going to get real here for a second.
Let's get real.
Social media, I love. I remember, I've been here 21 years, so was here before Facebook. I remember walking into my boss's office with a proposal about why SPCA Monterey County should have a Facebook page. That's how old and creaky I am now. Thankfully, he said, sure, let's give it a shot. And of course, now you can't exist without one. I love social media. It is such an amazing tool to get animals adopted and to teach people about our programs and services and all the great things, who we are and what we do. But it is also really hard. And to be honest, the only times that I have ever seriously contemplating giving up and walking away from this job have been due to social media and how mean people can be sometimes. And I think that a lot of people who are frustrated with, for example, pet overpopulation, that's a big, huge, messy, tricky problem with a whole bunch of reasons why it's happening. And I think a lot of people want just one simple villain, and that one simple villain is often the animal shelter. And when I turn on social media, usually Facebook, to be honest, actually, no, I take that back. Nextdoor, it's usually Nextdoor. And I see people disparaging the hardworking people that I work with. It's really, really hard. And part of me wants to make social media just poof, go away, but the other part just knows that that's such a tiny percentage and it's doing so much more good than evil. That's probably the hardest part of the job.
I was going to actually ask you. That's one of my questions. Is what does a tough day look like? What is a tough day? So
I have a very strong memory. I have two sons, adorable, sweet little boys who have caught the bug and love animals as well. Don't ask me how many wonderful pets we have at home. It's all legal, but we do have a wide variety of pets at home. And it was late one night. That's the other thing about this job, as you well know, and especially social media and email, is that we never totally tune out, check out. It's not a 9 to 5 clock in, clock out business here. So I was snuggling with my youngest son in his bed, putting him to bed, and he was starting to doze off, and I could tell if I moved, I was going to wake him up. So I was sort of, mindlessly scrolling my cell phone, as one does, and I came across something about the SPCA that was totally misleading, totally wrong, and just a pile-on of people just, again, not seeing the humanity behind our job and just villainizing our staff. And I'm lying there reading it, and my son opens his eyes and says, "Mama, your heart just started beating really fast. Are you okay?" Aww. And I realized the physiological impact of what we do. But like I said, for all of that, it's back to education. I just have to take a deep breath and remind myself that people just don't know the good intentions. People are just seeing us as sort of a faceless, bad entity sometimes. So it just takes me back to, okay, I have to show our faces, show our professionalism, show what we do for animals every single day, and then maybe people will get it. But that is the hardest part. Yeah. What's the hardest part for you?
It's the same. The same really is sometimes feeling like, for all of those things that we do with taking the deep breath and then educating and explaining in the kindest, most professional, and it's heartfelt too. We don't, we don't want to roll our eyes and say, oh gosh, we want to be honest and we want to be transparent. And when it doesn't get through, sometimes I have to tell myself, you know what, there are some people who just don't want to hear the truth or don't want to, they're not going to flip on a dime like that. So we just keep trying. But yeah, I would say that is I'm fiercely protective of the people who work here. And, you don't get into a business like this or an organization like this because, you love animals. That's why you're here. So I'm very, very protective, and I want to try to dispel any myths but that's a daily battle. It's not something that you can do overnight. So that is, I would say, the hardest part for me.
Yeah.
So.
And we always try to remain, professional, because we have to be here to help the animals. And, even if people are saying the cruelest thing, we're still responding with compassion.
Yes.
It doesn't work to respond in the same way that people are speaking, but B, we need to lead with compassion to help animals and people and wildlife and everybody that depends on us.
Absolutely. And so leading into that, it's so like you said, we can't really turn it off. We don't clock in and out that way. So you see that post at 10 p.m. and you think, okay, gosh, I don't want to read that. Okay, I have to read it. We do. What do you, and it does have a physiological effect on us. What do you do for self-care? How do you balance it all? Or do you?
Yeah, no. Well, okay, so you've reached a New Year's resolution. I am trying to take better care of myself. Today I have been a very good hydrator. That was one of my New Year's resolutions. I also went and got my blood drawn at a doctor today because I want to sort of do a baseline check and work towards better body health. But mentally, because you can't turn it off, is, I try to play with my kids and we do a lot of traveling, a lot of play together, snuggling my own animals, yoga, meditation, all of that. And I don't mean to complain. This job is 99% wonderful. I'm going back to I get to celebrate the work that our team members do every single day. We actually are having media today, right now.
Fantastic.
That is really, really exciting. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
So on the flip side, what's a great day like?
A great day is when we really get. This is a hard question, Dawn. I have two different kinds of great days, and one doesn't sound great. So I'm going to start with the ideal day is, there's no complaining on email or social media. The shelter is almost empty, and we just have a few more pets to adopt out, and we're getting a lot of media on some sort of great news story. One of those days when suddenly it's 5 o'clock and, oh my gosh, have to go home and make dinner. That's a great day. The other great day that doesn't sound like a great day, but I think you're going to agree with me, are the real horrible days where we're doing some sort of major scale rescue and the whole team has to come together because we just don't have enough hands on deck to do that rescue. And of course, that's not great. I'm saying this wrong, but just the teamwork and seeing our CEO, seeing our finance director, our HR director, our wherever you work, you and me and our team, even though we mostly have desk jobs. And frankly, there are days when I never touch an animal at work. Just having all of us come together to help with a rescue is really cool, to have just that team working together to really save and change an animal's life.
I agree. And I know what you mean when you say it doesn't sound like a great
No.
day. But there is something about when we do have those occasions that, we're tired and, we're exhausted and hungry but we're, like you
covered
said, the team's
in poop
coming
and mud and all those things.
Exactly.
Yes,
But we're all coming together, and I feel like I know, that's when I know deep, deep, deep down that we are trying, we're doing good things, and we are, literally getting dirty to,
Right.
to do what we can to help whatever that situation is. But so, yeah, I would agree that that's a great day. Is just that feeling of camaraderie, and then knowing that you're doing something amazing. Right. You're helping. We've discovered something, and we're going to work together to make it better. And I think that's, I agree. I think that's, it's like, yes, it's good. It's good. Yeah, no, I totally understand that.
You can tell why we love working together, can't you?
I know. I have to remember. So this is a podcast, Dawn. Sometimes Beth and I can finish each other's sentences,
yes,
but that wouldn't work for the listeners, would it?
You should see us just huge smiles looking at each other across the way.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun. So if you could change anything about what you do, what would it be?
Can I make everybody nice on next door? Is that allowed?
That would be great. Yes, if we could make that would be nice if we could get people to see things sooner, and to have it not be a struggle sometimes. I mean, that's how I feel about it. So making everybody nice.
20 years ago, the goal was that no animals need sheltering. And that has not come to fruition. There always seem to be animals that need sheltering no matter how much spay-neuter we do. And last year we set a new record in spay-neuter. This year we're going to set another one. But I really would someday love to see our shelter just really not needed. And we're slowly getting there. There's always going to be reasons people don't need their pets. And there's, of course, always going to be wildlife to rescue and animal rescues to happen. But that's still a dream someday, where we can just totally exclusively help out other shelters because we have space. But gosh, with my job, like I said, I'm the luckiest girl in the world to get to do what I do. It's wonderful to work with you and our great team to help animals.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
It is.
So do you have any, do you have a mentor, or is there someone somewhere in your past or maybe even your current time, is there somebody that you consider a mentor, or someone you go to when you maybe feel stuck, if you ever feel stuck?
Well, the person I think of, I can't go to anymore, unfortunately. So backing up again, my career before this one was totally different. I worked for a company called Bill Graham Presents in San Francisco. And big concert promoter in the area. And I did everything you didn't sell a ticket for. It was Bill Graham special events. And it was a lot of fun.
I bet.
And we did, we booked major bands to play for companies. This was at the turn of the century. That sounds like a long time ago. Turn of the century during the first .com boom. So life in San Francisco was really exciting and lots of money being spent on parties. And I was in the thick of it, going to shows every single night. I joke now that I traded rock stars for dogs and I get bitten far less often. It was a wild and crazy job to have. But my mentor at the time was a woman named Shelley Lazar. And she has unfortunately passed on, but her joy for life, her ability to be really kind and warm and welcoming, but also take no crap from anyone, was like nothing I'd ever seen. She was a powerhouse. She's an unforgettable. For people who hear that name, she's absolutely unforgettable. You meet her one time, and her career and the changes she went through in her career to wind up what she was doing were really inspiring. And just always, she really focused on, in her case, the people that she was getting into concerts to see these amazing shows. And the customer service aspect and the customer care aspect of that really, I tried to take to heart to, take care of our adopters, take care of our donors, take care of our volunteers, make them feel like a part of our team, and so vitally important to who we are and what we do, because we cannot exist without any of them.
So what is something surprising? Because we talked about how you were when you were younger, and the kind of child you were.
Yes.
What's something surprising that you've learned about yourself over all these years?
That I can be brave, that I have a voice. I remember when I first started here at SPCA, I was actually the event coordinator. That was my background, of course, with Bill Graham Special Events. I started here as the very first event coordinator at the SPCA and doing our fundraising events. And we went through a couple changes with the organization, and my boss at the time asked me if I could do a radio interview. And I don't know if I either turned bright red or all the color drained out of my face, one or the other. Probably couldn't feel my legs. Like, what is happening? But he's like, basically, you're doing this interview, and walked away. So, okay, here we go. And it was so simple now looking at it in retrospect. I brought a puppy on K-Wave, and I was talking with Barry Brown, one of the wonderful old DJs of our local radio waves. And I brought notes with me, thinking since it's radio, I could read the notes. But I was holding the notes, and I started shaking so badly that you could hear the notes shaking on the microphone, like this rattling sound.
Oh, my goodness.
And he reached over during the interview and just very calmly took my hand and put it down. I remember vividly that I said this puppy loves playing tennis instead of this puppy loves playing with tennis balls. It was a all in all disaster. But the thing is, Barry was so kind, and the puppy got adopted, and I realized nothing bad is going to happen. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I can do this. And that was a big turning point for me. And I feel like, I was a late bloomer, but I have bloomed, and now I feel much more comfortable. In fact, my what do they call the personality test, where you find out you're introvert, extrovert, all of that.
Oh gosh, what is that called? We all did
It's been shifting. More and more introverted as I get older and as I do this job more and more. It's interesting to see.
Huh. Wow. That is interesting. What is that thing called?
Did I say introverted? More and more extroverted.
Oh,
is that
extroverted.
What I said? Yes. It's been shifting from total, complete, as far as you could go, introvert to more and more extrovert, just as I get more comfortable in my own skin and doing this all the time.
That's amazing. Yeah, look at you now. I'm just trying to picture you with a piece of paper, having it shake and
literally shaking against the microphone, and he just reaches over. Yep.
I can't picture it because I've been around you for so long, and you're such a pro, and that is, I don't know. Kind of wish I could have seen it just to see the progression. But no, you're amazing. So, what do you wish people knew about what you do?
I kind of go back to that social media thing. I just wish they knew not necessarily what I do, but that we are all kind, compassionate, feeling people. Please don't villainize us. Mm-hmm. Please see us for who we are, that we are people who care about animals just as much as everybody else. In fact, ones who've chosen careers with animals, and that we're professionals, we're educated, we're seeking out, continuing education in our fields. I think it goes mostly to that.
So what would you give it, what kind of advice would you give to someone? Let's say someone's listening to this and they're thinking, you know what, maybe I need a career change, or maybe they're in school and they're figuring out what they're going to study, and they're hearing you and they're going, wow, this sounds like a really interesting job. What advice would you give to them?
To follow your heart. Like I said, science didn't work out for me. I was an English major. I went into publishing, realized publishing wasn't for me, and then wound up at this crazy rock and roll gig where literally they hired me to answer phones for a week while they were down producing. It was the first time Bob Dylan and the Wallflowers played together for a private event. Well, for any event, but this was a private event.
Wow.
So I answered phones for that week, and they said, why don't you come down on Saturday night and see the show? I'm like, heck yeah, I will. And on Saturday night after the show, my boss at the time walked up to me and said, why don't you come back on Monday to help us finish up a few things? And then that was that. That was my career for a while. But after a while, it was exhausting. And it did feel hard to see so much money being spent on a night of fun. We all need a night of fun, but see it literally melt away in an ice sculpture did get hard. And so that's when I switched over to a nonprofit up in Tahoe for a disabled ski company that did physically for the mentally and physically disabled, which was wonderful. And then when my husband got a job down here, the one place I wanted to work was SPCA Monterey County because of my history with the organization. And sure enough, this perfect job came open. So I have been really lucky and really blessed to have these opportunities. But I started out as an English major. I can sometimes put words together. So that is now what I do. And I look at you with theater background. And what brought you here? It's just follow your heart. Mm-hmm. there is a position here for anybody who wants it, who loves animals, who is good with people, and who wants to make a difference.
Yeah, it's using there's a place at the table for everyone. It's just finding the opportunities, and like you said, following your heart. What can I do to help? What are the things that I'm strong at? Or so no, that's amazing.
And it's cool the growth that we've seen here. I started as event coordinator, and now I'm the vice president. We have people who literally started cleaning kennels, who are now managers or also vice presidents. It's really cool when you love what you do and really have a passion for it. We really try to keep you here and keep you happy and keep you helping the animals.
Yeah, the path is there. It's there, and that's pretty amazing. I feel like I brag about us a lot,
That's our job.
But it is our job. But it's so true that there is a path, and we want everyone to succeed. We want everyone to find their place and to be happy and satisfied, while also, doing all, using their hearts to help the animals. And that's pretty. I feel like we're lucky to have that.
Yeah.
So.
I love this place. Can you tell?
We both are grinning. We're both sitting here. We're having a little love fest right now.
My cheeks are going to hurt after this because I've just been smiling this whole time.
What are your hopes for the future of animal welfare? That's a big question.
It is a big question. Like I said, I hope that spay-neuter does really continue to make a difference, that people turn to shelters first, that people realize we're not a sad place. You asked before about my elevator pitch to people, and that is actually one thing that I hear a lot is, oh, I could never work there, it's too sad, or oh, I could never go there, it's too sad. We're not sad. We're not a sad place. Come visit. You'll see that we are a warm, welcoming, comfortable place for pets and people. So I'd really love to change the perception of who we are and what we do and get people to think about shelters as the number one place to go when they'd like to add to their family.
Is there a question that you wish I'd asked you?
Why is Dawn so awesome? Because I really, really, absolutely do love working with you. You are a joy to work with every single day, and your passion for animals is almost unmatched. We were very lucky when you came to the SPCA.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Is there anything else I know we're going to have you back. You're going to be back
I'll be back.
on.
You can't keep me away.
You're gonna be around. But is there anything else you wanted to say right now, or do we leave them wanting more?
Yeah, let's leave a little bit. Let's leave a little bit dangling out there.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank you so much for your time and for all that you do for this organization and for me, of course. So I want to thank you for that. Thank you so much for spending some time with us, and I know we're gonna have you back.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Beth. Thank you all for tuning in. We would love to hear from you. If you have any questions for us, please email us at info@spcamc.org. Please put podcast question or something like that in the subject line so your question can be forwarded to me directly. You can find more information about us at our website, spcamc.org. A tremendous thank you to all SPCA staff, volunteers, and board of directors, an incredibly supportive, compassionate, kind, and involved group of wonderful and talented people who work tirelessly and endlessly to care for the animals in our community. And a special, heartfelt thank you to our generous, loving supporters. We at SPCA Monterey County could not do what we do for the animals and people in our community without you, and that includes this podcast. If you would like to support us, that would be most appreciated. You can find that information at spcamc.org/donate. We would also love it if you could drop a like or a thumbs up or give us a rating on whatever platform you listen in on. We'd love to continue our reach far and wide, and those ratings certainly help. Dawn Fenton here, signing off until next time. Much unconditional love to you and your pets from us here at SPCA Monterey County.